It's just so weird. But
Yeah,
that was. I thought I'd show and tell on this, but
that's
it's
very
such a
cool.
weird
Really
thing
Put your
interesting,
flute away,
yeah.
pal.
that I've never
Yeah.
seen before.
It's very weird.
Right,
Speaking of flutes,
let's get into this flute of this
That
film.
was the most
that was Bruno.
ham-fisted fucking segue I've ever heard.
Welcome to Preachin on Preacher at the Movies, episode number 93. This week we're reviewing Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
Well done.
Fuck yeah, I got that out.
Well done.
you had to write that one down.
Oh, I had to read
Struggled
that
even
one
though
off.
you read it off.
Fuck, man, I had to
Only
struggle.
realised 15 seconds in I was not holding my microphone.
Well,
That's what we're watching part one anyway. Part two is our question of the week, which is all about mockumentaries, a discussion. My name is Joe Lennon.
I'm Aidan Ralph.
Michael Ormond.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yes,
We
I
didn't
remember
forget
this
this
time.
week.
Sorry,
Yeah,
was I ready?
Lying.
I was just thinking you were going to forget me.
No, not this
I'm
time, Ken. I did not forget you this time. at all.
Don't you forget about Ken. Yeah, it's been what, 3 weeks since we recorded? I think last.
Yeah, we missed the last 2 weeks, and we
Fifth-
should probably explain a
Your
lot happened.
last confession.
Yeah, bless me, Father, for I've sinned. So the first week we bailed because we couldn't.
All you saps wanted to play Pokemon.
We couldn't
Dead
do it
right
on
excuse.
Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and then Pokemon Let's Go came out on Friday, and
Yeah.
me, Joe, and Ken wanted to play that shit,
Of course we did.
so we skipped.
I find that
Uh-huh.
fucking hilarious. Like,
We could have done the weekend, but weekends don't really work for us because
I
nobody
recorded a
watches.
podcast by myself. It was terrible.
Oh, here
So
was
I
it?
didn't, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
put it up.
It's in the recycling bin.
So, hey, Mick, how are you? Oh, I'm not the greatest, thanks. Oh, well, I had a good week.
Yeah.
Podcast hosts abandoned me. It was terrible.
Just while I think of it, we lost some people. We lost Stan Lee.
yes, we did indeed.
Which is the reason for this Spider-Man post in the background, right?
It was an idea, and we did go through some posters of what to hang up because we're fucking sick of Wolverine. And
Yeah.
when we seen that, we just went, yeah.
It works.
that's
It
And
just felt like
works.
it
sits
fits.
nicely on the background, too.
It's
First appearance.
It's,
beautiful.
It's sad that he's dead, but at the same time, he was 95. That's a fucking long ass life. Like
Yeah.
he was in his 70s
It's
when
a
he
good
shot
innings.
Mallrats.
Holy shit.
Isn't that amazing? Like, and like he's. And the other thing I'll say as well, his wife passed away last year, I think.
I'd say it was got to do with that because he was with her for so long
Yeah.
as well that it was just kind of heartache, and then there was a lot of pressure on him as well because of it, because he was who he was, and I'd say his health just like deteriorated.
I think it was his health, because they were saying for a while, because there was just, what's the last, at Infinity War when that was announced, he goes, he's done multiple cameos for future films.
Yeah, they recorded all the scenes that he wanted him in for like the next 12 movies or something.
Like, that's a showing that, like, he probably knew. Like, he's
Yeah.
95. Like, fair fuck, that's
a great
hell of a
age,
good
yeah.
age. That man has had so much pop culture impact on this world since
Yeah.
his early days of Marvel, and like nearly every character he's had to help in developing, if not co-creating. You could name nearly everyone in that Infinity War and literally go, well, Stan Lee came up with this part and Stan Lee did this. These are stories he grew up with, and are more in American culture. The idea of comic books growing up, they owe a lot to his stories.
It's crazy. Like even if it was a case of like
his art.
Even if it was just a case that it's like, oh, Stan Lee died, he created Spider-Man. He didn't just create Spider-Man. He created Spider-Man, X-Men, Thor. Like how many fucking
hundreds? There's literally a list of his characters that he's come up with, and it's crazy.
Like he
But
may
even
have
just
co-created a lot with some people, but
Yeah.
like 90% of that stuff he's done on his own.
yeah.
And
It's-
nearly every
it's
character is
madness.
co-creator.
Steve
On him.
Ditko as
Steve
well.
Ditko
He's
is the other
he was
guy.
sort of his main.
He's another god of
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
Like he's he's fucking unreal.
and also like
Ditko, God of Comics.
I like that.
Did you hear when Stan Lee went to heaven? He was actually disappointed with God's superpowers.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, one of my favorite pictures that I've seen. There's loads of artists thing. There was a BuzzFeed article I think that had a load of artists like tributes to him. Like one really beautiful one was just Stan Lee in an astronaut suit, and like saying hello to his wife again. That was beautiful. But I think my favorite one was just a funeral and just all the Marvel characters there. Like
That's
so
not
the X-Men
actually Stan Lee's one. I know the one.
I know
you're
it's not Stan
talking
Lee's,
about.
but it's a tribute to him.
It's
like.
great. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
It's
Like
beautiful, yeah. And also, just recently, this isn't on quite the same level of being an icon as Stan Lee, obviously, but Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, died at age 57.
was that
after-
today, wasn't it?
I think it was today, yeah.
Jesus.
It was only announced like in the last hour or two. I don't know if you guys have you ever watched SpongeBob SquarePants, anybody?
Did you say the last hour or two?
It was only announced in the last hour or two, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But like he was only 57. He died of ALS or motor neurons disease.
Oh fuck.
Which what was his name again? Colin Murray had that as well.
I was going to say a joke, but I won't.
Infamous.
I feel awful.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not for that. I don't know if you guys ever watched SpongeBob all that extensively.
Fucking right.
I've seen it a good bit, and those two movies are very good. Particularly the first one. That first movie. There's
That
a scene,
mustache scene kills me every time.
the
Where
5
he,
o'clock shadow.
squeezes for the mustache. And
No, my favorite bit that I can remember of that first film is he gets fired from is it the Krabby Patty? Is that the name of the restaurant he works in?
Oh, yeah.
He gets fired, him and Patrick go out and they eat ice cream.
We're
And
all goofy goobers, yeah.
they get drunk on ice cream,
Yeah.
and he goes into work the next day and he has the 5 o'clock shadow in his face and he's really hungover after all the ice cream.
Okay.
And he goes up to his boss.
Come down,
Yeah.
It's his hangover.
Oh, it's amazing. But he just goes up to his boss and just says, "I have one more for you," and he just blows a massive raspberry in his face up for ages. And it's, remember me and my friend watching that, and like we were literally tears streaming in our face laughing at it, and we were like 18 watching that shit.
I never really watched SpongeBob.
SpongeBob was great, man.
Never
It's
really
so
never watched
good.
it. Just
So
skipped
good.
it.
The
Like,
theme
I skipped
song is
completely.
the thing I know of.
I know that. I've
Yeah.
never heard.
You guys should watch it. Like I know it's after.
Are you ready, kids?
Pretty good.
This is a fun factory as well. I'm a big fan of Ween. In the last couple of years, I just got into them. Ween have an album called The Mollusk, which is all nautically themed.
Okay.
It's all songs to do with the sea and stuff like that.
Is the team
or mostly
song on it?
It's not but that album was a big influence on Steven Hillenburg. So an album which has a song on it called "Waving My Dick in the Wind" was a massive influence on the creator of SpongeBob
Fucking
SquarePants.
fantastic name for a song.
Yeah, they have a song called "Ocean Man" though, which is on The Mollusk. That was like the closing credits song for the first SpongeBob movie. But yeah, like I just thought that was really tragic news because
We
that
lost
show.
two great ones. Yeah, I won't lie. The culture, the impact that SpongeBob has had probably in the last 15 years is crazy.
It's pretty
Like,
big, all right, and like it.
Fucking crazy.
I'd say the reason you guys probably haven't seen it is because like it is after our time in terms of us being children,
Little bit.
and
I think for a lot of
Just
for a
outside,
lot of
yeah.
kids, it would be their Ren and Stimpy.
yeah, absolutely,
In
and
that same adult type humor
Yeah.
way, but in a kid's cartoon.
it's genuinely hysterically funny. I remember another episode I remember was when do you know Sally the squirrel in the show?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
She lives in
Sexy.
Ken's
squirrel.
got like sexual
She-
feelings
Oh, yeah.
for a squirrel.
she
An
lives in
animated
this-
one, by the
she
way.
She lives in this dome, like so. Like she's obviously a squirrel.
Spacesuit on.
She's a spacesuit, but when she lives in the dome, she's just walking around like as a squirrel. And SpongeBob goes to visit her, and because he's a
Where
sponge, he starts getting all dried out. And Patrick the whole time is saying, "Well, if you want to seem fancy, just stick your pinky in the air." So like Patrick's there outside the dome, the SpongeBob's getting all dehydrated, his face is getting all sunken in. He looks outside, sees Patrick. Patrick's like, put the finger in there, and SpongeBob's like, his face all puts the finger in the air just to try and seem fancy in front of his new friend. Man, that
So
show
good.
you should give
I
it
just-
a spin.
The only scene I
It's
can
very
remember off the top of my head is I think he's going to work in the
Yeah.
Krabby Patty, but he just spends like 10 minutes going, I'm ready. I'm ready. Marching to work. I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's a great scene.
Oh, it's such a good show. I really want to go and binge on that a little bit now.
Yeah.
So it has been like a massive kind of 2 weeks. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not
Last-
quite the level of
last
20. Was it
week-
2015 where everybody
Yeah.
died?
Jesus.
I was
No, it's
expecting
26.
another great to go because they say they go in trees.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the name because I'll speak too soon.
I know who you're thinking
And
of.
it'll happen, but just...
I know exactly who you're thinking of.
Who?
Similar age to Stanley
Yeah.
as well. He's getting there.
it better not happen.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
I can't. It'll jinx it.
You won't. There's no such
He'll
thing
be-
as a
he'll
jinx. It's
believe
He'll
in
be
bullshit.
that.
dead by the end of this recording.
Who is it?
David Attenborough.
Oh
He's
yeah.
a final age
yeah,
though. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
He's in his
another
90s as well, isn't
he's
he?
in his
Yeah,
90s
he's like
as well.
96 or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've only seen bits and pieces of Planet Earth, but
Oh, my God! What?
yeah,
Not
it is
even
very
that.
good.
Like when he used to do like the original, the starter
Yeah.
BBC stuff.
He's done
and-
everything. He's done
Yeah.
Blue
Oh,
Planet.
yeah.
He's done
Mhm.
all the old BBC documentaries,
Mm.
National Geographic, and everything.
When we went to London a couple of weeks ago, me and Adele, we went to the Natural History Museum.
Make
I
up
wasn't
more
there,
than
I'm
he
just
knows,
assuming.
yeah.
One of the
Or
things
was
that
I?
one of the things that Adele got in the gift shop was like an unofficial David Attenborough activity book.
Amazing. Amazing.
Just all like
Just colouring a
It was
picture
David
of David Attenborough.
Attenborough.
that's definitely at least one of them. But like it's totally unofficial, but it just looks like good crack.
I have one other thing that happened this week that I need to show you. It's like, sometimes you get gifts from customers.
Joe, I told you you're not allowed to do this on camera.
I know,
Dick extension, was it?
And, so I got something
basically,
from customer. Sometimes you get it. They might bring in some
like
something sweets or
thing. I've got it
maybe a whiskey sometimes.
And surely, as a member of a national electronics chain, you would not accept said gifts.
No, we can't. But when
so
customers
I put it in here for a reason. We were talking about music.
What the fuck?
And he
Joe, you're not allowed to get your flute out on camera.
He made this.
He made it.
It's
that
like
is law because the dog will go fucking ape shit.
I really want to blow it.
You don't even blow into it. You vibrate the thing at
tip.
the top.
You vibrate
See,
the
there's
tip.
a cover.
Yeah.
You vibrate it.
Yeah.
And but it's just there's an engraving of an alpaca.
I really want to know what it sounds like.
Like a hum.
Don't Aiden.
I really want it.
We go out onto the balcony after the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll blow it out there.
This is it for the camera
from
there.
to the fucking north side going crazy.
It's such an unusual thing. He was like, I think we got in a conversation while I was doing something and about like he plays loads of different instruments and how he makes his own things. And I said,
try to get this in focus.
Play guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's cool. He literally dropped me one in and one of the sales guys another one. That sold him one of his new laptops or something. He goes, look, you're so helpful. Here's a little gift. I was
What's
on my
it called?
lunch. I was on my lunch and everyone got the name. He left them in my office for me.
What does it sound like?
Kind of like a hum, like a small didgeridoo mixed with a saxophone.
Because it's shaped like a saxophone, but it's made of wood. So it's,
I want to play Baker Street on that thing.
It is. It's just something really unusual.
I wouldn't even play the drums with it.
Like,
shoddy.
it's just so weird. But
that
was. I thought I'd show and tell on this, but it's such a
really
weird
put your
interesting,
flute away, pal.
that I've never seen before.
It's very weird.
Right.
Speaking of flutes,
let's get into this flute of this
That
film.
was the most ham-fisted fucking segue I've ever heard.
We're about to talk about Borat, cultural learnings of America for make benefit glorious nation of Kazakhstan. Here we go.
In your defense, it's deliberately bad
It
English,
is.
so it's tough to roll that off.
It doesn't. Tough one. Ken, you say it. Listen,
sorry,
you do it.
before we get into the actual film, the DVD itself, the menus are fantastic.
It's like a pirated.
Yeah, it looks like I was looking for the film in my DVD collection, yet I weirdly still have like a binder of DVDs.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
And I was looking for, I don't have Borat. And I was getting worried because oh god, I have to figure out a way to watch this. But it was on one that looks like a blank CD.
Yeah, just a
that
Borat
just has like
marker.
a Borat marker.
I actually
on
had
it.
it on
or
DVD
backwards,
years
I think.
ago as well. I had it on DVD years ago as well.
But the menus are great because it says like menu of DVD home movie film or something.
Commence movie film is what it is.
Commence movie film is the start.
So before we start, there's two comments I have, not made by me.
Okay.
Okay.
The first one is in
by
quotation.
Or Ken K.
No, that's too specific.
Sorry, yeah.
Absolute piece of shit, Ken.
Best comment ever.
And
Who was that?
as I left the room for a second, Rosie wrote her opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not watching this.
So her opinion doesn't matter then.
I hate that Sacha bitch.
Also,
walks out, Rosie.
Okay.
And
well,
that's
then she
literally-
doesn't
she's
have an
now-
opinion because she didn't watch it.
Now
She sat through half of it and went, what the fuck am I doing? I'm going to bed.
So now we can rock into it there thing. I think we should
The
have-
two best comments ever.
Aiden looks so sad. He looks like Ben Affleck in that
Yeah,
interview.
like I mean, I may or may not bring this up in the second part, but I only ripped on Short Circuit. Like even when if you listen back to that Short Circuit episode, let me finish. You guys, pour your praise over it, and I was like, after a while, I was like, to be honest, lads, I didn't really like it that much.
There's one part of that podcast where you literally go, no fucking way, no, awful. Like there's a part where you lose your shit.
This
But
podcast
I'm not
is
gonna
not
do that
about
to it.
vengeance. It's not about revenge. It's about our honest.
Okay, I'm on the wrong podcast.
It's about our honest, actual feelings about whatever film we're watching that week.
Piece of shit.
Okay, well we know what.
Like
Ken's
okay.
going for.
Let's
Let's
just
start the actual discussion properly.
let's just talk. Let's just like
Okay.
bring up the elephant in the room.
Was
that
it
was not
Sacha?
that's not a fat joke, by the way, Ken. You look great. What's honestly honest opinions in this film overall? Like, and just
Joe will verify this. The one time I laughed at this movie,
I love that part.
was when he made the weatherman laugh.
That's really good.
And the only reason I laughed is because the weatherman
very infectious.
was laughing, and
so
he's tried so hard to stop, and he couldn't.
I think you laughed at another part.
The credits.
No. The part where he answers the door to the telegram guy.
Oh, and he high-fives him,
And he's like, oh, your wife's dead.
I just went, oh, Jesus.
And it's literally that moment that was like, so my wife is dead. And he's just like, high five! I love the way your man doesn't want to say it to him.
Them back. I was like, oh, man.
That was funny. It was funny. And do you know what? I laughed my ass off as well. You started thinking I was trying to hold it at the speech he does before doing the national anthem at the rodeo. Like,
because it just gets worse and worse.
I hope that George Bush
we were just like,
drinks in all the blood of the Iraqi women and children.
And the applause starts fading a bit. You're like, oh.
But there's a load of Americans literally cheering in that rodeo.
The bloke before
I
when he was
applaud
talking to him about wanting to hang up the gays, I was like, what the fuck?
I actually think
your war of terror.
It's mad.
I actually think they're some of the best bits of this film,
because
where you see people's genuine horrid. Like, there's that guy. There's the frat people who are
they're
like
awful.
completely just
fuck those guys.
objectification
Or
of
the
women.
meal when he's having
dickheads.
that type of shit. Like, now I appreciate his documentary style. I will, no doubt, I cannot deny that his documentary style is that good. That when he does talk to people, he's such a good character play that they don't realise that he's taking the piss because he's so good at it.
He holds it together so well.
I'll
give him
that.
that.
How he gets people to open up to talk about that type of shit.
And
be brutally honest with him being like, oh shit, this guy's just telling the damn truth right now.
And he's so quick. Because, like, even, like, I don't think the joke is particularly funny, but when he's doing the comedy lessons and the guy is explaining what a not joke is, and where he's like, this suit is black nut, or this tie is black nut. No, you have to wait. Okay, you pause. You know what a pause is? Yeah. This tie is black, pause not. no, pause. So, this tie is black.
No, you're supposed to actually do
not.
That was the thing. There was a few, like, that scene still holds up a little bit. Like, there's certain parts of that where I'm like,
even after after the meal scene when he's running, I think, out of the house. He uses that not joke.
The very
at the very end with Pamela Anderson. Pamela, I'm not attracted anymore. Not.
I think if I had to say I would say overall, I still like this film. It was interesting to go back and watch it because I'd seen it before, but I didn't really remember a huge amount of it. But I was surprised at the amount that I did remember as I watched it. The one criticism I have of this film, and it's not a criticism specifically just for Borat, it's of all of these kind of films that have gone from a sketch comedy show to a feature-length film, they can oftentimes just feel like a series of independent sketches threadbare linked together by some...
Like when you done Ali G.
Yeah, and I dislike the Ali G film. Like, I don't think that's a very good film.
I mean, I was actually going to bring it's not a very good film. I did enjoy it at the time, but I don't know how... I don't know if Bjorn's going back to it.
I think Borat is Sacha Baron Cohen's character that holds up the best. Because
it's his most memorable.
Also because he uses it to make cultural commentary.
It literally had the most impact as well. It's one of those things where a lot of people didn't know how to take it when it first came out. But there was like, you take the scene, it's nearly at the beginning where he's walking through New York. That whole scene where he's trying to all completely... My name Borat,
how are you? And he's trying to shake people, and he's like, "You get the fuck away from me!"
They're one of the parts of the film that weren't staged at all. So the best parts of this film, you'll notice, and there's a lot on the facts that I have on it, but there's parts where I've gone, I like that scene, I like that. I don't think this one held up very well. It's a thing. Most of the ones that really hold up well are ones that are not really planned. It's kind of arrive, camera, record, say what you want, get the fuck out. And a lot of them worked with that. Like the New York one where he chased your man down the street. That was amazing. That was real.
That's
100% real.
Your man looked genuinely scared.
He's terrified. He's terrified. You've got to remember, this is coming really close to, like, after, like, say, 9/11 was only 5 years previous when you had... they were still in the height of the Iraq War.
Yeah.
And a lot of
And
paranoia.
a lot of Americans would just have automatically assumed he was that part of the world. I mean, this guy's a fucking terrorist. Chase me down the streets. Get the fuck
Kazakhstan
away
has
from me.
basically nothing really to do with what anything was going on or in the region at the time. But because they heard it goes foreign name kind of thing, similar to how Iraq might be portrayed, and it's like, oh, fuck this. All right, this guy is literally talking some weird shit at me.
I mean,
it worked for him.
I'd like to read a little bit of Empire's Review on it, if I may, just to, on that note of Ali G versus the Ali G movie versus the Borat movie. If you're ever partial to a bit of Ali G, you may be forgiven any trepidation you may feel towards Sacha Baron Cohen's latest small to big screen translation. With his juvenile observations and clueless gangsterisms, Ali G was an amusing enough creation, but what made him work satirically was seeing him interact with real people. It wasn't so much that he was a ludicrous youth TV presenter, but that his unsuspecting interviews thought he was a youth TV presenter. So when Cohen took him out of that context and placed him in his own fictional world, the result wasn't quite the comedy ride it could have been. You might have been slapped an ASBO on it for indecent exposure, but it was certainly no riot. So with the Borat movie, Cohen learned his lesson.
Bad metaphor.
Well, yeah, with the Borat movie, Cohen learned his lesson. Like Ali G, Borat, who made his debut on the Ali G show, instantly became the funniest thing on it. And it works by being thrown in front of real people who somehow think he's for real. So that's what makes it fucking work. And one of my favorite bits as well is, like, I'm just thinking of it now, every time I think of it, just I laugh. Like, one of the people that actually took it very well and actually came across as a rational, genuine, nice human being was when he's doing the driving lesson.
I was just gonna say,
when he kissed him, and she's like, okay,
that's
I'm not used
not
to that,
unusual. That's okay.
I'm not used to that, but that's fine. He just takes on the chin.
That guy seems so weird, but so nice.
Yeah,
if
just
that makes
after
any
everything
sense.
he's saying about
aggressive,
in that whole scene, Borat basically announces how he in his country we just rape the women whenever we want.
Yeah,
and his reaction is literally, he goes, "But are you my friend?" He goes, "I am your friend. I like you. You're my friend. We're friends." And it's a legitimate
and he whips out the fucking bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
You can't drink that here.
You can't do that over here.
For fuck's sake,
so good.
So, like, even the way you were saying about him being the fake TV presenter, for them to get him onto that onto them news broadcasts or to talk to people to be like, oh, this is
like he talked to a few American politicians as part of this film,
like,
which is
he would have had to have made a big back catalogue of footage of him being a fake news presenter for them to approach them with.
Yeah, 100%. They made
interviews.
Right, I have it in the facts somewhere.
Research.
Yeah,
I think it's in my facts somewhere. There is a shit ton of background things. They had to create websites, fake, nearly fake everything to make this person almost real on paper, or if they sent a link, like kind of like the way we do LinkedIn now. It's like that kind of, well, we got to see
a fake portfolio of everything.
100%. It had to be searchable, it had to be found, and most places literally gave him the accreditation. They were like, oh yeah, this guy's real. Yeah. And he got in. It gets him in the door. Like, it's simple little things. Like, look at that. I didn't think it was a great part of the film, but the whole things with the Jewish in the film, like the running of the Jew.
Yeah. My God.
That completely. I remember that being hella funny back in the day. But
did you just use the phrase "hella funny"?
Yes, I
sorry.
did.
Okay.
Was that whole thing set up?
That's fully set up. Yeah, that's not a real thing that happens every year in Kazakhstan.
Well, no, as in,
the running of the Jew doesn't.
No, I thought it was some weird parade thing that they were taking. Not for that reason, but he was overdubbing the Jew part of it.
No, that was a setup.
And then he was CGI'd into the side footage somewhere.
Kick that Jew egg. Sure. No, like they literally like, oh look, the Jew mother's coming. She's laying an egg.
No, I thought that might have been audio overdub, but it might have been part of some kids' parade.
No, I think that was one of the scenes on the list for pretty much. They did it during a time when there was a real thing going on. So some of the guys running were part of it. I think the rest of it was completely planned.
Jesus, I know they don't do a fucking Jew chase.
Sorry, it's just I was like, oh my God.
It did sound like you were wondering whether they did the running of the Jew.
Like the one point, I don't know if it's just me getting older and more getting pissed off at certain types of things being taken the piss out. But it's like, you look at the part where they literally, it's like a Airbnb where they go to the old couple.
Yeah.
And it's like they find out they're Jewish. Yeah. And the whole thing, the whole scene from that moment on is just...
It's completely fake and staged.
it just annoyed me.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't have.
I'm sorry, but I
couldn't find it funny.
the scene,
I don't know why.
that scene's not one of the better ones in film,
Yeah.
but where they think they turned into the
Cockroaches,
woodlice and they're
yeah.
throwing the money at them.
Yeah.
I
There's-
thought that was a little ridiculous,
Yeah,
but in a
yeah.
good way. I like that over-the-top, stupid humour.
Yeah.
Um,
That driving instructor, I'm just reading now, he's still sued. He seems like a nice guy, but he's sued.
I have
really?
a list of how many lawsuits and stuff as well. And just
Yeah.
it's a crazy amount.
He got nothing, by the way. But anyway.
you
Well, he's a
get
terrible driving
nothing.
instructor. He probably got a bit of business out of it. But
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And why would you even sue? Like, he's not, I wouldn't have sued. Like, he actually comes across really well in the thing. Like, he believed him. And, he fell for the
he probably
the thing,
sued in the way that you had my life at danger.
Mhm.
Your driving was
It's
a
also,
I don't. It's probably.
Yeah.
I would say it's
It
more
was a
just
stupid
everyone was doing
lawsuit.
it, so yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
join in on the fun, see if I can get anything.
Yeah.
jump on the bandwagon.
One thing I'll say about this film, like, I know, like, you guys are saying, like, some of it works and some of it doesn't.
Mhm.
If you see one of the things that reminded me that I wanted to watch this film for the podcast was watching Who Is America, Sacha Baron Cohen's latest thing.
I have actually heard some pretty good things
That
about.
I
Yeah.
don't want to watch because he gets again a lot of American politicians to open up
Mhm.
in a way
Bernie
that
Sanders
I don't think
was on
anybody
there,
else would have been possible
Yeah.
to be able to do that the
Mm.
way he does it.
Yeah.
But
No,
he goes over as a Russian. Is it Russian?
there's
To
like
make
5 or 6
Israeli.
different characters.
Is it?
There's
Yeah.
loads
So
of them.
he goes over as that type of character that
Iran Borat.
loves guns
Yeah.
and goes to these politicians that
Yeah.
again want
Kids with guns.
Yeah.
That whole video of where they made the song about the a giraffe
Oh my
Uzi and all
God,
this.
It
yeah.
type
was
of shit.
the
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's mad.
kindergartens.
Yeah.
I think that was the premise, because that's when he's meant to be like the Israeli security guy.
Yeah.
And they're trying to promote the kindergartners or whatever the hell they call
Like
that.
Yeah,
It
I
was
can't remember what it's called.
so
I
ridiculous.
did laugh so much at that
He
line where
went
he's
along
like,
with it though.
what was it? The one, I think you said it a few weeks ago with the whole.
My son,
my
my son died doing what I love.
Yeah,
Because he died
my,
using
my
a gun.
son shot himself by accident, so my son died doing what I love.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
just
amazing.
the compliance with everything he says that
Yeah.
really
Yeah, yeah.
terrifies the shit out of me. He
Mhm.
goes, "Oh, you're only in charge of the country of America, so it's
Yeah.
fine." It's
No,
terrifying.
it's for the most part the series works. I think there's one character who was like 99% shit, but he's not really in it that much. There's like this fake gay YouTuber, and he's not that funny, that character. But for the most part, it works. It works really well, that series.
Mhm.
So that's what made me think, you know what, I need to watch Borat again.
I was kind of surprised how much of the comedy dated quite well. Because for
Yeah.
a film that was made in the mid 2000s,
2006.
like
Yeah.
a lot of the comedy dated quite, like, it didn't show its age, I
Yeah.
suppose.
See, I found it did start showing it in not all of it. There's
in
Like-
the stage shots, it did, but the
I disliked
candid
the naked fight scene only because I thought it was
that could
unnecessary
literally-
and
yeah,
Which
that's
I-
exactly
It was just
what I
weird.
wrote.
I
It
thought it was really
seemed-
weird that they blocked out. No, I wanted it all blocked out, but they blocked out.
That was for fun, though.
Sasha-
That was,
that was
completely
just for
fun.
fun to make it
Yeah,
look
yeah.
like he'd a massive wang.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what's actually one of my favorite parts of this film, and it's still aged perfectly?
I was like, what the fuck?
I know.
The beginning,
Which?
right? You know, the introduction into his hometown.
Yeah.
That scene stays alive for me more than the rest of the film.
Which one?
Where he's
completely forgot
introducing
about that
everyone
scene.
around the town.
Oh,
That scene completely. I know it's
is
an introduction.
pain in my assholes.
It's like, I got iPod, he can't afford.
Great success.
Crazy. All right, that's still like that opening is like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like other
Yeah.
scenes, as we've said, haven't
Yeah.
I don't think hold up as well. But that scene for me is still a good scene.
Right. I think for me, like, honestly, for me, like, it's 84 minutes. It's tight as fuck. I know that you can argue that, like, oh, you know, this is just a ham-fisted segue to get in the driving lesson sketch, or this is, you know, but I think it flows for the most part anyway, it flows very well, and it, you know, it makes sense anyway. Or even when he's going to buy what ends up being a really shitty car, and the guy doesn't even bat an eyelid when he's saying, no, what's the best car to not run down
wagon.
a gypsy or whatever.
That's fucking terrifying as well. It's like, will this kill a
This
Jew?
one, yeah,
Will
this
this
one right
kill a
here.
Jew?
you
Well,
definitely
it
want.
doesn't
You
30
definitely
mile an
want.
hour.
Yeah.
There's not even any cut there. Like, there's it's just the one shot. And he's like,
I
"Tell
will
me this
give you
one."
$100 if you put in the magnet that is the pussy.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
The Christian scene is one where I really fucking hate.
I've always hated that, not because of what Borat does, but because of them. I just find them
they
offensive.
legitimately scare me.
Yeah, I find them offensive, to be honest
I'm
with you.
terrified of groups
Like that guy running
I
back
really
and forth in front of their altar.
Oh my god, what a loser.
What the oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm scared of how many times I'm going to say what the fuck during this podcast.
Yeah, but that to me, like, even right from the get, I love this film, as you all fucking know, but like, that's the one scene that I find offensive because of them, because they're so fucking ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm not religious,
Yeah.
but I was raised Christian.
yeah, same.
And I think if I was to have seen that type of shit as a kid, I would have turned off religion a hell of a lot quicker.
It's terrifying.
You
Exactly.
say
It's
that,
just
but if you're
terrifying.
raised in that environment,
Yeah.
I would say you are more likely to become
No,
that
but-
kind of...
No, but if I was raised the way I was and seeing that, I probably would have been like,
Yeah, I'm out. Sorry, Ken out.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's to me, that particularly, and we're getting on a side note about this kind of religion thing, it annoys me because that evangelical type religion would be the kind of thing that well, I don't know any, so I'm making an assumption here, but it's the kind of thing that some of the more hardline Americans would criticize Muslim religions, that same kind of dedication and
Yeah.
Fanatical.
yeah,
Yeah.
quote unquote fanaticism. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Almost fundamentalism.
yeah,
like,
you're allowed to do this, or we're allowed to do this, but you're not. It's like when you
Yeah.
see, there's all those pictures of, you see like a Middle Eastern person holding the Quran and a rifle, or what they say is a Quran and a rifle, and then there's pretty blonde American girl holding the Bible and a rifle, and how is that any different, except one's a pretty blonde American girl and the other is a dark-skinned person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Anyway, side rant over. That's just
No, that's you
Yeah.
hit like fucking
absolutely nothing to do with
nail on the
Borat.
head. Nail on the head. Oh, it's involved.
No,
That-
it's
that
absolutely
scene.
irrelevant. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very scary. And like
Yeah.
him playing up to that kind of insults them as well.
Talking
Yeah.
In
like,
tongue.
talking tongues. It's like
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, I thought that was supposed to come out of nowhere, and literally the preacher was like, talking tongues. I was like, What?
When he finally relents and starts doing it, that bit is fucking hysterical. I love that bit.
he goes over the
He just-
top with it, and fair fucks to him.
Yeah, he just like,
But they're all playing it up, and then the guy's standing behind him whispering shit into his ear. And it's just like, God's got you now.
that scene is so
That's it,
uncomfortable
yeah,
until he
you're
starts
with
speaking in
God.
tongues, until
Yeah.
Borat gives in. Then
and
it's
then even
hysterical.
Joe pointed out, I never copped them, but the big army sergeant with all the pin badges on his chest standing on the altar
on the
behind
altar,
him. Like,
yeah.
and it's just he's standing there as an act of
Never
authority.
noticed
Like,
him.
it's really weird.
Yeah. That's
Like a general
But
of
it-
the fucking army.
I also think, again, it's where Borat and these kinds of films are at their best, when they're pointing out that hypocrisy and
Oh, yeah.
using this completely over-the-top humor to make an actual valid social commentary point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this film has it in several parts, that being one of them.
He has a habit of being able to get that kind of message through his
Yeah.
Yeah,
his films
and
and
that's
his
what
sketches.
I appreciate
Yeah.
about the movie.
Yeah.
Is all that type of shit that he's able to pull all this information while portraying a stupid character. Like his
And it-
comedy style, I don't like, but
Right.
that whole documentary end of things where he's able to, like, literally take out this information out of people without them even realizing
Yeah.
he's taking it
Yeah.
and being like, I'm making fun of you, and you don't have a clue about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You know,
It
it's
kind of
really
shows
fucked
as
up.
well. Most of his ones are based on American type influence on how foreign people in America. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah.
Are portrayed in different ways.
Yeah.
And it really shows. It's like, oh, you're gonna take the piss and believe that these guys are doing all this, and it's like, I'll tell you what, we'll bring one in, and I'll show you exactly
I'm
how
gonna
fucking
pretend to be one of
stupid
them.
you are.
And like
Yeah.
let people see what you
But
are
it-
actually
Yeah.
like.
To me, it's even pointing out the hypocrisy of them saying he could be there was, the dinner scene where he
Yeah.
goes to the bathroom and then they're all
Oh, I know the-
they're all and they're all commenting like he's a little rough around the edges, but with a few weeks of like lessons and stuff, he could be a perfect gentleman. And it's like, no, he could be the perfect idea of what you think is that.
Yeah.
Then he comes down with a bag of his own shit. So
As well as that, I think the
Imagine-
line she says is he could be quite an American.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gentleman. I think it's
him or something like that.
it's
If
like
she uses a different word, but it was really as in
he could
what
be.
the hell?
One of my
It's
favorite
like
lines in that
putting
whole
him into a
scene.
cult.
In my country, they go crazy. Not so much.
Yeah, you could see how offended was.
Oh
that
my
guy.
god!
So good.
Actually, that's
The
the only
husband-
part
oh.
of the dinner scene that I really like is when he kept pretending
Thinking
your
of that
man's a
one.
retard.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
let sit at table.
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
what?
no. Retired, not retired.
I'm retired.
just thinking about it, I'm like, oh my god, the poor fuck.
Perhaps you've never seen somebody with very funny retardation.
We keep him in cage. Well, one time he get out, and he gets in. I was like, oh my fucking god.
Oh,
Or even
yeah.
then he's showing those pictures of
The
his
kid.
son
Kid
at
with
the dinner
massive
party.
penis. I was like, where the
The
hell
big
did
thumbs
he?
up beside it.
Yeah,
That's
where did he
not
buy
going to
one
be
of
in
them? I want
my
one of them.
facts, but it's definitely a male porn star. Yeah.
Oh, is it right?
Of
Okay.
legal age,
Of
so you don't have
legal
to be
age,
uncomfortable,
yes.
Ken.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, I'm uncomfortable because I want one. Not to have like
In my mouth.
no
In and around my
I want
mouth.
to.
to
So
have one as mine.
Oh my
Not the porn
god.
star, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say have a dick that big.
Yeah.
Cool.
That has to be
Just
the
for
ultimate
clarification.
this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shower not a grower, grower not a shower.
Do you want to rock into your facts at this point,
Yeah.
Joe?
I should. I should.
Is there much more of this we can butcher?
No, that's good.
Uh,
I think we're coming to it. We can do our.
I really appreciate that you've given a constructive criticism
Uh-huh.
after
You
all
did.
the build up to this, Ken. I just want to say that.
Despise it. I still despise
He
it.
still
Loads-
despise
It's a
it.
god awful movie.
Biggest load of
But I
work.
You respect it.
appreciate
Yeah.
his documentary style.
Fair play. Yeah.
Facts.
That's yeah.
That's a fact.
Facts, Max.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Beautiful. Here we go to our lovely facts. Number one. The police were called on Sacha Baron Cohen 92 times during the production of this film. What?
That's a lot of police time.
That's a lot of police.
That's a lot of
He
power.
caused a lot of trouble.
Like,
Yeah.
could he have got a 93rd call from police for wasting police time?
A lot of police call-outs. Like, he definitely paid some overtime for the police.
Yeah.
Number two, Johnny Depp, George Clooney, and Steve Martin, all of whom were huge Sacha Baron Cohen fans, contacted him about having a cameo in the movie. However, Baron refused all because it would have ruined some of his gags if they knew what was going on.
Mhm.
He turned down a lot of other offers
Yeah.
for cameos.
Understood as well.
He goes, it's not the style. I just love that fact for one thing. Imagine being
Well, except
Sacha
for
Baron
the-
Cohen on the other end going, yeah, look, George,
Yeah.
gonna have to say no.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of nice that he stuck to his
His guns on that. Like,
vision
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what
Yeah,
he
and
wanted the
didn't
film
give
to be.
in to
Yeah.
Yeah.
celebrities wanting
Because
to
it
be in
would be
his
very
movie.
easy for producers or whoever to go, if we could get Johnny Depp in this film,
Yeah,
it's
think of
gonna
the money we can
Steve
box
make.
Martin.
office.
Steve
Yeah.
Martin
Yeah.
contacted him. Like, it's fucking Steve Martin. And he
Yeah.
still told him to.
Yeah. Nope.
Well,
Alright.
except for they got Pamela Anderson.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
number
was
three.
in it.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was.
That's probably one of your facts, is it? The bodyguards.
I think I have a
Yeah,
thing on it. Yeah.
right.
Number three, at a shooting event in Kuwait where Kazakh shooter Maria Dmitrienko won the gold medal, the Asian Olympic Committee accidentally played Borat's parody of the Kazakhstan national anthem in the medal ceremony instead of the real, actual Kazakhstan national anthem. Kazakh officials heavily protested and they had to rerun the medal ceremony that took place to prevent the same embarrassment from happening at the 2012 London Olympic Games. The Kazakhstan government specially guided the London Games organising committee on the right national anthem.
Oh,
Since
God.
most of the athletes in the Kazakh team are Russians and do not speak Kazakh, they were specially trained in the national anthem to prevent a rerun of the goof up.
So what? They played his
Kazakhstan,
They-
greatest
Are you
country in the world.
You can look it up.
Is there a video of
There's
that?
a video of that. Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
I-
It's the
amazing.
medal ceremony.
I would love to see their faces.
It's for
Yeah.
the.
I'm going
it's
to-
for the
I'm going to
shooting.
watch it.
It's for the shooting. You know the shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just amazing. Sorry, just thinking about that.
Yep.
Oh. Right. So some of the writing contributions in this film, which I thought were fascinating. Seth Rogen and Patton Oswalt actually wrote quite a few sketches for it. They're
really?
uncredited in the contributions.
Todd Phillips as well, director of
seen
Road
that.
Trip.
Did he?
He wrote part of the story. Yeah. So there you go.
That must
So-
have taken all of 5 minutes.
We can't go without mentioning something from the actual Kazakh government. The character of Borat was heavily criticised by the Kazakh government, being a concoction of bad taste and ill manners, which is incompatible with the ethics and civilized behaviour of Kazakhstan's people. Sacha Baron Cohen, played Borat, gave a fake press conference at the White House gates on September 29, 2006, just one day before an official visit of the Kazakhstan's president. The Kazakh government hired 2 Western public relation firms to counter Borat's claims outside the White House, also running a 4-page advertisement in the New York Times, implicitly rebutting many of the claims made by Borat at the White House. Kazakhstan has since changed their strategy by playing along, going as far as inviting Borat to visit Kazakhstan, and they've now used it in most of their travel to Kazakhstan stuff since 2008.
That's quite an about turn, isn't it?
Cash in.
Yeah.
Absolutely cash in. And look, obviously, well, probably not Americans, but most of the world know the people are not like fucking Borat, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, sure, they got Liam Neeson to do a Tour Irish video before.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
He did actually.
It's like there's 90% of the population of America that did not know he was Irish.
Hey, look at this.
Or had
we have a leprechaun museum.
Well, a lot of them
do.
In fairness.
We have a leprechaun museum. We're playing into it.
I have full blown AIDS.
I will find your country.
The one things that got in trouble in Kazakhstan was actually Borat's neighbour. So the character, Nursultan Tayakabay.
Your man with the iPod.
His name is a mixture of the actual Kazakh president and Nursultan Nazarbayev, an opposing politician. The two of them that fought that year for the presidential campaign. Both were highly insulted and tried to sue the film.
He made up a bleeding name.
Yeah, relax.
Where's the other thing? So, where did they film that? You know, the whole Kazakhstan thing?
Not Kazakhstan, I assume.
No, so one of the things they have about the village in Kazakhstan is called Glod, and is located in the region of Romania. Glod literally translates from Romanian language as mud.
Jesus.
Right? Villagers of the Romanian town were paid £3 each to feature in the film.
Each person was paid £3.
Yeah.
And that was probably an extension on their house. That's how much that could be worth, like.
Yeah, I don't know what.
You never know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
Actually, hold on. How much? Like
£3.
$3.
Three British UK pounds.
Okay.
So that's worth nothing.
I'll do this.
Not anymore, anyway.
I'll come back to your Brexit point.
Yeah.
Okay. Where was it? I had a list of. Where is it saying? Sorry, I'm waiting on the thing because I literally had to skip by a few of them. Where is it?
Why?
Kazakhstan
is the greatest
country in
I only
the
have 2 left,
world.
and I wanted to choose random because they literally have so many on them that I was like,
before you continue and we forget that point. So £3 would be 1576 Romanian leu.
Okay.
And for you to buy like a loaf of bread, it would cost you like 0.02 of a leu. So it's actually quite a lot of money.
Well, if you could look up the average wage of Romania, that's kind of a helpful benchmark.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other one I wanted to mention as well, we had to get Pamela Anderson in there somewhere, and it's right down here. When Borat is trying to kidnap Pamela Anderson, none of the production told her bodyguards about the premise of the film, which is why they full-on tackled Borat with such force and authority. However, Pamela Anderson was in on the gag and really hammed it up for it to make it look real. That's got to be intimidating, man. Those guards were big.
Yeah.
I tell you, if he tried to film that these days, he may have gotten shot.
Yeah.
Like, literally, if he tried
Someone with a permission to carry?
Yeah,
probably.
Like a concealed carry permit. But, yeah, he very possibly could have gotten shot if you tried to put a bag over a celebrity's head and cart them off.
That's true.
Especially if you don't look American. Like, if you look foreign. Like, yeah, it's mad to think. It's weird. Now, obviously, situation and where that signing was taking place, plus a lot of other things probably came into it. But it's a big, like, even in the post 9/11 America, it was I would think a pretty big risk to take.
This film in itself?
No, that
that
particular
scene.
scene.
That particular scene, okay.
And not telling the bodyguards.
Can we talk about the lawsuits? Have you got a lawsuit fact?
Do you have one right there?
No, just asking.
Before you go with the Romanian money was, an average wage, their take-home minimum wage in Romania is It's about 1,162 RON per week, which is about €310. Sorry, €250.
Okay, so the £3, which converted to 15,
15, whatever.
wasn't a huge.
It's about like an hourly
couple of
rate
hours
to them.
worth,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? An hour.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Wage.
Yeah. It wasn't like they got some crazy windfall from it.
Yeah. I have some legal
sued
action
for being cheap.
I have some legal action stuff here if you want.
I'll do the total. The total number that have come out is up to around, where is it listed? There's 340 that were filed.
Yeah. So the village,
340 lawsuits filed.
the villages of Dlod, Romania took legal action, and they're asking for $38 million in damages.
What?
Damages?
The car was already being carted by a horse.
Yeah. One lawsuit was thrown out by U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska in a hearing in early December 2006 on the grounds that allegations in the complaint were too vague. The litigants said they planned to refile. Nothing more on that one. Two of those dickhead students in the Winnebago. The suit was dismissed in February 2007. The students had also sought an injunction to prevent the DVD release of the film, which was also denied.
Yeah, because they probably realised the shit that they said.
Yeah,
and was
exactly.
like, oh, that can't be
Also,
released.
surely they would have signed some kind of release form.
And they were probably pissed drunk, but it was still signed.
Another lawsuit was filed in South Carolina by a resident who said he was accosted by Baron Cohen as Borat in the bathroom of a restaurant in Denton, Columbia, with the actor allegedly making comments about his genitals without signing a legal waiver. The lawsuit also sought to have the footage excluded from any DVD releases and removed from internet sites. Nothing more on that one.
That's going to be just that's Aiden's standard comment. It's like, this lawsuit, nothing more. This lawsuit, nope.
Felix Cadeno, a 31-year-old American, sued 20th Century Fox for $2.25 million after he was filmed as part of a scene where a live chicken fell out of Borat's suitcase on the subway.
Is that the one where it jumped on his back?
Possibly. Cedeno later dropped the suit and received nothing.
Not even an egg.
No, the driving instructor is named as Michael Sinista. Sought more than $100,000 in damages from Baron Cohen and 20th Century Fox and other parties.
Wait, what bus driver was that again?
Not the bus driver, the driving instructor.
Oh.
The case was dismissed on the 9th of September 2008. Jeffrey Lemerond, who was shown running and yelling "Get away!" as Borat attempted to hug him, filed the suit, claiming his image was used in the film illegally, and that he suffered public ridicule, degradation, and humiliation as a result. Surprise, surprise! The case was dismissed. And finally, just a note on all this: Borat. Baron Cohen reacted to these suits by noting, quote, "Some of the letters I got are quite unusual, like the one where the lawyer informed me that I'm about to be sued for $100,000. And at the end he says, P.S. Love the movie. Can you sign my poster for my son Jeremy?"
Oh my God.
So a lawyer sent him a lawsuit claim then asked him to sign a fucking poster.
By the way, love the flick. Can you sign this?
Well, it's not the lawyer suing him.
Yeah,
it's the lawyer's company.
Yeah, he's doing his job.
My last one that we'll add right at the end.
Did he actually get sued for anything?
So nothing came of any
Nothing came of any, according to Wikipedia, no?
So every case that got full got dropped.
Pretty
much
much dismissed, yeah.
Great success!
High five!
They have nothing to stand on.
Yeah.
There was one, the FBI assigned 2 teams to Sacha Baron Cohen during halfway through filming Borat due to numerous reports of a Middle Eastern man travelling the Midwest in an ice cream truck.
Wow.
This film had impact. Let's give it that.
I'd say that it's 20th Century Fox.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that they had a legal team on the case just to make sure that everything was tied up in such a way that they couldn't get sued for jack shit.
100%.
You know, do you know what I mean?
I
And
think
even
when
if they
the
were,
FBI showed up, he continued to play character. Went over and trying to kiss all the agents.
Did he?
My name is No, do you think he would have?
Oh, probably.
Funnily enough, he never washed his suit for the whole of the filming.
Not
so as
once.
you see the the way it gets worse and worse and worse, he never cleaned it once, so that it would continue to stay like that for the whole production.
Amazing.
We can knock into
Do
the
you want to
list,
rock
will
onto
we?
the list?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
Chip, you know what? You just made the list. Oh, no. Here we go.
Here we go,
Right.
indeed.
What was the last one we watched?
The last film was They Live.
Is it there, is it?
Yes, it was
When did
added
that?
as a grand number 50 in our list of 58 films.
Yeah.
So that was great
Sure
success.
about that? I don't see it.
I definitely added it earlier on, and it's number 50.
Oh, like literally in the last.
It is the bottom
there.
of the good films.
Okay. Well,
Yes, there.
There was good movies.
Apparently.
Video game?
So where are we thinking? What is initial feelings?
Where are we thinking?
It's not
51.
bottom of the end for me, but it's not too far from it. Like,
You're not joking. You're not serious, are you?
well, it can't. It can't.
I think
go.
this.
Hold on. You are actually scrolling up near Blade Runner.
I'm scrolling from the top down.
Yeah, keep going. Keep
Get
fucking going.
I think this is probably going to be the film where we have the greatest disparity
think
between. Well, no, disparity between where someone is and where our topmost one is and their bottommost one is.
Right.
Because I think on a lot of the films, we tend to, even if we have different opinions on them, we tend to somehow hover around a 10 film difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Whereas I think this one could be,
Sure.
some people will be closer to the very bottom of the list and some will be closer to the top end of the list.
Right.
Does anybody want to kind of start and...
Give a number.
Absolutely not. No. I think I'll let you guys go first, then I'll retort.
Okay.
Okay,
Nick?
I'll go.
Where's the
Do you know what?
bleeding
I'll go
list?
first.
All right.
I will put this. If I had to, if I had to just give it a number as kind of an initial placement, I
Why
would.
don't you send me the link or something on WhatsApp? I can't find this bleeding list.
It's on the.
It's
Facebook
on the Facebook page.
It isn't. It's hoop.
It is.
It's
It's
pinned
pinned.
comment.
It's pinned to the top.
I'm on
It is.
the page.
Scroll down.
Scroll down. Wait for it. Scroll down.
Scroll down.
We can't talk about that because that's future planning.
Oh, where's the
It's
list?
somewhere there.
I got it. Like, hang on. I'll send you the thing now.
Go
Okay,
on, Mick.
I'm just gonna pick a number out. I am going to say the number 30. So I'm saying
30,
in and
okay.
around 30. So for reference, 29 currently Nightmare on Elm Street, 30 is currently Scream, 31 Anvil, The Story of Anvil.
So it's better than
Okay.
Popstar, huh?
It's better than Popstar. It's again,
Whew.
I'm going by where I am on this list. I think Apollo 13 is a way better film than this. But where it was put
Thanks,
on the
Bev.
list because of it is, yeah, I'm going Nightmare. Like, I prefer Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Anvil. I could take it or leave it with those. So for me, 30 seems correct.
Yeah. Joe?
Yeah, you were saying
51.
No, not at all. You remember you were saying we were about 10 apart.
Mhm.
I'm very close to that. I think was my initial. I wrote
Okay.
down. I think I like to put when I watch a film, look at the list and put the number in the notes
Mhm.
just so I can see. And then when
Your
we talk
initial
about
kinda
it,
thought, yeah.
sometimes I move them down or
Mhm.
move them up
Yeah.
the list. I think initially I had put. Where was it? I had initially put 45 after watching it.
Okay.
45, really?
So for reference,
Short circuit.
for reference, Short Circuit is 44.
Just on principle, you fucking cunt.
I knew you'd love that. I knew you'd fucking love that.
44 Short Circuit, 45 Space Jam, 46 the Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
God.
Down
Ken?
the lower end of the
Yeah.
serious films.
Go on.
Ken, go on, hit me.
49.
49.
Below
Uh,
Franklin.
Wow.
No,
yeah.
it's.
Oh, wait,
do you know
hold on,
what?
sorry.
Was Ken around for the Franklin discussion?
No,
God, that was an awful film.
sorry, it's taking Franklin's spot.
Okay,
So
so you're
after
saying underneath
48.
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's better than Enter the Dragon.
I
really
apologise,
didn't like
Aidan.
that film.
That's all right. I like again.
No, I apologise for how bad that movie was.
Oh wow.
I appreciate like your constructive criticism in spite of your reservations for the style of comedy.
Yeah,
and
and
all
I
that sort of shit.
appreciate you ruining Short Circuit on me.
I didn't ruin
Okay,
Short
it's
Circuit.
not, again,
No,
not
we're
a
not
revenge-
getting into
it's
this.
not a
We're not
revenge
getting into
thing.
this.
Yeah,
We're not- no,
I can't
no.
make you unwatch the film, and I wouldn't want to. Like that, you love
I
that
wish
film.
you
Good for you.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean Short Circuit.
Aiden,
So
you have yet to give an opinion.
I was gonna say
70.
3.
no. I was gonna say I was actually gonna say 34, just below
okay.
Popstar, because
So
I
of
think-
all of us, I am the highest on.
You're the
surprisingly,
Borat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Popstar wasn't at 33, I probably would
Sick.
agree with you and say 30.
Mhm.
I prefer it to Anvil. I prefer it to Apollo 13.
what if we meet in the
Um,
middle at 45?
That's not so much meat in the middle as taking the absolute piss, mate. You
It's
know?
me in the middle with me
Okay.
ish.
Okay. So we're not going to get that close. Okay.
Halloween is definitely better than it.
No, I disagree, to be honest.
Muriel's...
Halloween.
Muriel's Wedding was awful.
We're not going
That
back
should have
on
been
Halloween
further.
again, but that for me is one of the ones that we may have misplaced because of some of the films around it. But I think it's down to the nature of how we did the list. And
True.
Yeah.
again, we can appreciate Halloween's impact without
Yeah, of
thinking
course,
it's
yeah.
still
Yeah, if I
parts
could
of
pull
it
a Jeremy
outdated.
Clarkson on this, I'd literally just pull half of their movies out and put them where I want them because I'm the host of a show. You know what I mean? That's his.
Well, I'm the
mentality.
owner of the list, so I technically can do that.
Kind of. Do you know what?
Shut
If
up,
it was
Jericho.
below Short Circuit, I'd be impartial all the way up to around the Halloween mark because of it. Muriel's Wedding I wasn't strong on. Full Metal Jacket left a sore taste in my mouth. Dragnet was mediocre at best, I remember.
Average.
Bad Santa's
okay.
pretty good, but
I
like,
disliked Bad Santa.
American
Yeah, you
Graffiti.
said this, yeah.
I don't know if it's overhyped for me. Metropolis was, for a near 100-year-old film, it was fantastic.
Hmm.
But it
45.
just doesn't live up to the rest above it.
I forgot we had watched American Graffiti.
That's because it was rubbish.
Rubs.
Me and Adele got bored and had sex in the middle of it instead. Just pause that shit.
Remember that? You told us that, yeah.
Why
Yeah.
pause it?
I tried to, but Rosie went to bed.
So you just sat there, paused, had a
I
jerk.
just went, oh, for fuck's sake, I have to look at this cunt's face.
Okay,
and then I turned away from Joe and watched the telly.
Boom, boom.
Ugh.
Okay, so
This is going to be a difficult one
this
to
is going to be a difficult one.
settle
Yeah.
the differences. Again, I've no real horse in this race. No horse in this fight. No dog in this race.
You have nay
I
say.
have nay say. But yeah, like, for me, it's 30-ish.
Yeah.
Aiden will fight you for it.
I have dice. You can just roll off.
I understand we're not going to get near the 45 mark,
Yep.
No.
but
I did not.
if it pushes Muriel's Wedding further down, I'd put it there, 35.
I'm sorry,
Was it
but I
36?
can't rank this higher than Short Circuit.
I tried, Ken. Sometimes you got to pick your battles. I try to and lose every single one. But
Oh my god,
God's
you
sake.
still go on about this.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I lose every one.
That's-
Hey, it's
yeah,
my, it's
I
my
won't go
thing.
into
It's a
that, but yeah.
tradition.
It's a tradition.
Taking my
I mean, like-
opinion more times than I'm here, like less than half of the time you are.
I can
Definitely better than
see
American Graffiti and Dragnet.
Of course it is, yeah.
And Dragnet.
I can see
Didn't think it
35,
was
I
that
guess.
funny.
Like,
I'd be like, I'd probably be happy
either
enough with
side
30.
of Halloween
I'd be happy enough with 35.
doesn't matter.
35 plus 10 is 45, quick maths.
35. Go for 35.
35?
Because we're not going to get better than higher than that.
Write it
I'd
down.
like to, but
So we're saying above
can
Halloween
understand.
or below Halloween?
Above Halloween, I would
Okay.
say. Yeah.
Is that what we're agreeing
yeah,
on?
the original isn't as good as I remember. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so number 35.
It's better than I expected, I'm not going to lie.
Hey,
Aiden's
I
like,
wanted
"Great
45.
success."
I wanted 40. I'll be honest, I wanted 45.
Did you want 45 just because it was one below Short Circuit?
I did not want that film anywhere below Short Circuit. It just
That's
didn't
just
make
how
sense
it works.
to me.
After
It was
the ribbing.
glorious.
It doesn't make
Like
sense.
the
They're
next-
no longer going to have YouTube videos, I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck, I'm going to have to have this horrible conversation next week again with the Harold and Kumar flick.
Oh,
Except this time I'm going to be on the other side of
I
that
know, yeah.
conversation. And
More
according to
mean.
Joe, I have more
What was the
sway.
other?
So
It's been me and Joel. Oh, come on, guys, please.
more racist.
That's assuming
movies.
you haven't seen it, though, yeah, have you?
No, never seen it.
Right, okay.
Right. So, with all that done over, will we rock into part 2?
yeah, I think that makes sense. Do we have any
Please.
final thoughts on Borat? It
No.
was Ken's just done.
I have one final thought.
Okay. Very nice.
Kazakhstan, greatest country in the world.
Oh.
All other countries are run by little girls. Yeah, I think, honestly, I genuinely think it holds up very, very
I
well.
was hoping you'd keep singing and make it just like gradually
Fade
out
out.
into part 2.
That would have been awesome. I should have done that. I missed a trick, didn't
Mhm.
I? I'll read one more quote from Empire, if I may. As my final thoughts.
Okay. All right. This is the final thoughts of the whole thing.
This is Sacha Baron Cohen's finest hour, a cult comedy that would likely endure and mature like an airplane, or this is Spinal Tap. Just don't go along if you're easily offended.
Fair enough.
Yeah, airplane.
Sacha
Fucking
Baron Cohen's
plane
best
crash.
role. What do you think?
Yes,
role?
it is.
This one, you think is?
Absolutely, this one.
No,
yeah.
Bruno roused me too much.
No. Not Bruno. No.
Especially when he's in the fucking
No.
UFC cage.
Mm.
All right. With that, we will rock into part 2. And welcome back to part 2, where we are discussing mockumentaries. And that nearly spilled all over that.
That was
laptop,
almost
didn't
an
it?
absolute disaster.
Nearly never won the race, mate.
Ooh, we're really close.
Yeah, that was close.
I would have been lifting everything up and just going, I got my shit. Who cares about
Yeah.
yours?
Mick's like, I'm done. No, this is it. I'm done for the day.
I'm out.
Is your
Like-
laptop technically not used as a mop, Mick?
It's a mopped up.
What?
We should totally
An
remind
iMop.
the iMop.
That doesn't make any sense.
The crapple iMop.
Before we get into an Apple discussion.
No, we won't.
So
Not this week.
in the first half, we talked about Borat. So in the second half, we're talking about mockumentaries in general.
This is the one I thought the question. I was like, he's gonna love this. Because like
I
one of
haven't
your
seen that many
favorite films of all time is
a mockumentary. Yeah, I sort of forgot it was until I saw it on the list that I just googled. Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which we covered 2 years ago, around that.
Is that not like based on true story?
I wish it was.
He just portrayed Justin Bieber.
There's a lot. Yeah, it's based. There's a lot of truth in the thing.
Yeah.
That and the U2 thing with the with the promotion of the album and stuff in that film.
That was really at the forefront of it, though, wasn't it? It was like, we put you in the fridge, man.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that was. I think Popstar is, to me anyway, like
A travesty of a film that should never be spoken about.
I don't remember you being so hateful on that film.
No, he's
I
just
was
doing it to
okay. I'm
annoy
doing
me.
it to annoy him.
No, I think
Done
Popstar
enough
like
annoying in the first half.
yeah, exactly. But like Popstar is definitely like it flopped and stuff commercially and all that. But to me, it's very much a modern day Spinal Tap. I think one thing that Empire said about it was like, as ridiculous as Spinal Tap was in the 80s, which I'm sure we'll talk about as well.
Yeah, definitely.
As ludicrous as that was and as music was and all that sort of stuff, music is just as ludicrous now, and Popstar really did a really good job of making fun of the ludicrousness of the music industry now. Or what, certainly what we know of it anyway, you know what I mean?
It's definitely a modern... Yeah, I'd agree on a lot of things, and that is, it's a modern kind of version of that kind of Spinal Tap.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Spinal Tap. Weird sentence to say.
Yeah,
it's got to be up there.
yeah.
I like the songs from that film more than the film itself. Like, I can listen to the songs from it, and they make a good album, but I didn't think they particularly worked very well in the film. But
I thought the
there's a
inverse
whole-
of that, because like I think that's it's the fourth Lonely Island album, and I heard the album before I saw the film, and I was like, oh, I don't know how well that works as an album. But then I saw the film and thought the film was amazing.
I would say I've not listened to the album. I've just listened to like the 5 or 6 quote unquote popular songs from it.
Yeah,
So the Bin Laden song, the Humble song,
yeah,
and like the names escape me of the rest. But
yeah.
like I heard So Humble before I even knew it was a film.
Justy?
Yeah,
Oh yes.
We're going to OTT right there.
because
Justy.
I remember because he turned heel.
He
Came
did.
out to that song and Aiden lost his
whoa,
fucking
whoa.
shit.
I
And I was
remember
like,
that.
what?
Obviously I
I
did.
don't. Why is it so popular? And then Aiden was like, "You've never even heard of Popstar? What?"
Yeah,
And then
I think I remember Ken being really giddy because you were doing the music at that time. The
Yeah.
first time that thing. And I think I remember looking up at you just completely
Fucking great
fucking
tune.
giddy,
Yeah.
knowing that every one of us who was sitting down there was going to fucking lose
But
our
for
minds.
ages, I said it to Justy. I was like, you should get that. And where he says the name Connor, you should just get him just going, Justy,
yeah,
and put it over it. And
It's
it just would have
Justy.
made so much more sense.
yeah.
That
But,
was such a cool little surprise.
That was
on it.
special. Like, and like the fact like he turned heel and it was kind of devastating. But then when he came out to that song, I was like, okay, he's won me back already. Like, you know.
He's back now. I actually don't
Mhm.
know if he's actually using that song, is he? I wonder.
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I haven't
I hope
been
so.
to an
I
OTT
really
in a
hope
while.
so. It's been a
Yeah.
long time. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to go to OTT again. But regardless of that, I think Spinal Tap is. No, I'll Google this right now because I'm not sure. But I think Spinal Tap was it's certainly the first super popular mockumentary. Or I think they don't like referring to it as mockumentary. They like referring to it as improvisational comedy kind of film because
Really?
I think because Spinal Tap wasn't scripted. They wrote
What?
They wrote the story.
Yeah.
And they all their characters had backstories and stuff. I'll double check this now in a second to verify, but I think they all knew their characters really well. They had the storyline, but like it's all unscripted. You just had to act in character and stuff. I think anyway, which is fucking crazy.
If
but
all
like,
that stuff is off the cuff, yeah.
yeah, like it's all like it's all very much planned and stuff. But I don't think it was scripted. It was just very well planned out in terms of story, in terms of character.
That's crazy
and stuff.
because I'm thinking of a lot of scenes from that going, that's crazy to
Yeah.
think that they had literally a story with no script. Because
Yeah.
some of the things they say, Like, obviously, the famous scene of turn up to 11 is
Why
is
not just
something-
make 10 louder?
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
11 is one more than 10.
So the term mockumentary, which originated in the 1960s, was popularized in the mid-1980s when This Is Spinal Tap director Rob Reiner used it in interviews to describe that film. So he came up with that.
Yeah.
He coined the term.
I had one.
Or no, he didn't
I
coin
had
the term.
one
Sorry, he
quote
was,
that like someone wrote about
Yeah.
This Is Spinal
Popularised.
Tap, and
Yeah.
it was like transcending the movie genre and bleeding into real life. Some 30 years after it was first released, Spinal Tap is a rare case of a mockumentary that came true, the mockumentary that lived. It's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like its own kind of machine. It's constant because I
Yeah.
listened to that album. I've actually had a good few of those songs in my playlist.
Smell of Love. Smells of Love. That's the name of the album in the film. No, I've only seen Spinal Tap twice,
Big
which
bottoms.
is a travesty. I need to watch more of it, or to watch it again a few times. I think the reason they call the band Spinal Tap as well, I think I read Harry Shearer.
Mm-hmm.
It is Harry Shearer, because I always get Harry
Yeah.
Shearer and Agazarian mixed up. Harry Shearer said, like, I think we called it Spinal Tap because we wanted to name it. We wanted to give it a name that would be as painful as the music we were going to make.
It worked.
Yeah.
The only
Um,
song name I can remember from that is Lick My Love Pump.
Live my love pump. Yeah.
So yeah, it's in A minor, which
And
is the
that's
saddest
it.
of all keys. It's been just an idea I've been knocking around for a few months. Wow, it's really beautiful. What's the song called? Lick My Love Pump.
And that's how Baby Ryan was born.
All I wanted was a lick in the love pump.
Yeah. And she sat in it instead. She misjudged the situation.
We got to
Uh,
remember this moment, all right, and then years from now, and just be like, Ryan.
Yeah, he's never allowed
Come
to
here.
listen to episode 93 of Preachin' on Preacher.
This is
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part
7
two.
minutes in.
Just a
Just
bit of
skip
Yeah.
by.
a bit on Spinal Tap. Veteran
Mm-hmm.
documentary cameraman Peter Smockler worked as a cinematographer on the film. Smockler, I'm not sure, had great instincts for camera placement on set, according to Reiner, who's the director, and is responsible for the film's cinema verite style, although the cinematographer did not understand what was supposed to be funny about the movie. With Smockler behind the camera, the film was shot not as a feature film, but as a documentary, without a script or traditional shooting schedule. So much footage was filmed, brackets, over 100 hours.
what?
That it eventually required 3 editors to complete the film. So there you go. So it was-
100 hours is impressive.
Yeah.
So they were just constantly filming and
Like-
hoping for the best.
We've all seen it, yeah?
Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's. I think I hope I speak for all of us when I say it is one of the funniest films ever made,
Oh yeah, it's definitely up
unscripted.
there. 100%.
How fucked up is that? Like,
Like one of my favorite line is the it's like, "Hello, Cleveland." It's not Cleveland. And it's just one guy just going, "What?" And it's like, "We're not in Cleveland. No, we're in San Jose." It's like,
I love...
it's just that whisper right beside him. It's like no thing. And the next concert they go to in the next town, which is like say Texas or somewhere, anywhere,
yeah,
he still goes, "Hello, Cleveland." It's just such a fucking great
Yeah.
moment. That's why it's bleeded over into different things like Simpsons and stuff.
yeah.
Hello, Sprungfeld.
There will be no encore. I like
because
the...
Harry Shearer being in,
Yeah.
main.
I'd say that
cast
made
member
him
and stuff.
happy. He was like, "Oh fuck, we get to do a Simpsons episode."
They
on
played
Spinal
Glastonbury
Tap."
1 year, you know that?
Oh, it's amazing. Did you see
Yeah,
it?
I seen a bit on TV.
Fucking
Yeah,
amazing. They had
Mad.
all the bassists from all the other bands come out and
Did
play.
they?
Jesus. Oh, what's the song?
I can't
They had
remember.
everyone because I remember seeing Rob Trujillo from
Yeah.
Metallica was there.
Haven't all
They
their
came out.
bassists
Sting.
fictionally like died in very gruesome ways?
I think I have to watch that again. Jesus Christ!
They,
it's so
I
good.
They had like 15 bass players on the stage.
Uh-huh.
It was amazing, and even guitarist James Hetfield came out with a bass. It was amazing.
I love the bit in that film where Harry Shearer gets stuck in the pod
Yes,
and,
that's
just
very.
can't, and he's struggling the entire song to try and get out. And he gets out at the very end and it's just like, rock on!
The little the little
The
people,
tiny Stonehenge.
the Stonehenge. I wanted a pig,
This is Nigel's not the issue. Nigel's confused.
especially when the little guys start running around. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Did you ever
That
see A
film
Mighty
is
Wind?
Perfect.
No.
A Mighty Wind. Did you ever see that one?
Wind. No.
Same people that made.
Sounds like
The
me
main
on a
Spinal
Sunday
Tap.
morning.
I was waiting for
But
it.
it's the
Waiting
same.
for that.
Same people that made Spinal Tap, or a lot of the same people anyway. And it's about a folk band.
Right.
So I've always meant to watch it, but I've yet to give it a crack. I don't know how well it was received and stuff, but Mostly positive reviews. Okay, well that's all right. So that's a Mighty Wind. That's another one I really got to check out.
One of the latest ones I've wanted to check out, I've seen it on the list of them, is What We Do in the Shadows.
That's very funny. Have you? Yeah, you've never seen that? Huh?
I haven't.
Really
no, I've heard it's mixed. I've heard mixed reviews, but it's on all the lists of mockumentaries that I could find. Like, it's like, you should watch it. It's not an intense kind of locked in kind of film that'll keep you going. Like you're like think, but it's really entertaining to at the end, like when it's over and you're just like, huh, I actually kind of like that. Yeah, that's the reaction people are getting from it. You've seen it, obviously, have you?
Yes, I have.
And it's one of the guys from
Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords is in it, and it's
and
the director
of Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, it's his thing. Like, it's his thing. And it stars Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords. It's very funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. Like when I heard that Thor Ragnarok was made by that, I can't pronounce his name, which is terrible. But
Wakiki.
Yeah, it's
honestly that's going to be my absolute best attempt to get his name right.
But he's. I mean, obviously
I'll get it because I might feel bad now.
He really rescued that character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. And he, like, his character in that film was amazing, and the film,
it's vampires, isn't it?
Yeah, but his character in Thor as well. I mean, sorry.
Sorry.
He's the rock guy, as you
might know my friend over there.
Yeah,
he's dead.
Hello, it's me, the big Paul the Rocks. I'm talking to you. He's brilliant. Another one that you might enjoy, Joe, I'd say, it's called CB4. It's a rapumentary starring Chris Rock, and it's directed.
It's a rockumentary.
A rapumentary. That's what it's written as here. But it's
a
rapumentary. But
that is hard to say.
A rapumentary.
It's directed
but it's also
by,
a rockumentary because it stars Chris Rock.
Oh, man.
Get out. It's rubbish. Don't write that down.
You're rubbish. You're rubbish.
Fun fact, which has nothing to do with anything. It's directed by a woman called Tamara Davis, who also directed Billy Madison, and she's also married to Mike D from the Beastie Boys. So that's another fun fact.
You'd be great at 6 Sides of Separation.
Yeah, probably.
Or just random. You should go on The Chase.
Yeah, but just the very specific chase for like useless trivia.
Music and associated people trivia chase.
Yeah, but CB4 though, it's about like it's making fun of a lot of rappers. Like at the start, there's like loads of actual real life rappers like talking about CB4. It's like, oh, these N-words are real. These guys is real G. I seen him step out to a guy. I walked away. All this racial. You see Ice Cube, you Flavor Flav, all these, and you've Eazy-E even. Like, Eazy was still alive when this thing was being filmed.
Right.
And it's just interviewing loads of them, just talking about CB4 and stuff. This group called CB4, which stands for Cell Block 4, by the way.
Right.
And it also
prison.
Charlie Murphy's in it.
Charlie Murphy.
First thing I ever seen Charlie Murphy in.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you think it was Eddie?
I thought like that guy looks exactly like Eddie Murphy, of course. But before I'd even seen Chappelle's show,
I still remember the first time someone goes, he's a twin. I'm like, what?
Oh, are they? I didn't know they were twins.
They're twins, aren't they?
I don't think they're
I don't think so. No.
Identical.
No, it's not. No, because Dave Chappelle, I remember when he was talking about an episode of things like, Charlie Murphy, like he was on the Real World sketch, like that's Eddie Murphy's older brother. So like,
no way,
it's his older brother. They just look very like. Yeah.
They're so like they're near identical.
They are very alike.
It's scary.
But yeah, I mean, there's even the songs. Talking about songs and films and stuff. Mockumentaries. One of the songs, and they do a very good job of making fun of NWA.
All right.
Instead of Straight Out of Compton, they have a song called Straight Out of Low Cash, which has lyrics like, "I'll fuck your sister, I'll fuck your cat, I would have fucked your mom, but the bitch is too fat." And
I'm seeing it here. It's 1993. Jesus Christ!
I never met a piece of pussy that I didn't like to. Never met a piece of pussy that I didn't like. Like to eat it, like to suck it, take a shit in a bucket. Straight Out of Low Cash. They're the sort of ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, and Phil Hartman's in it as well from The Simpsons, as well. The guy that's
Phil Hartman
from Troy McClure and stuff. He's like the.
You may see me in previous films.
He's the angry parent in the thing that's and senator and stuff trying to shut them down. There's another song also as well called "Sweat from My Balls." So if that doesn't tell the film for me, I don't know what will. You can feel a sweat from my balls.
Okay, I might have to check it out just because of.
I may use that Straight Out of Low Cash as the end song for the film this week. Or for the episode this week.
Sweat from a biggity balls. Yeah.
Like,
under no circumstances are you allowed to perform Sweat from my balls. It's the opening track they formed, and it's great. You love it.
Two inclusions that are kind of maybe on the cusp of what a mockumentary is that I was going to bring up. District 9.
Is that a
would that count? Would it count? Well, it's
I have never seen
it's
that
documentary
really?
Style at the start.
Yeah, it's bookended. It's bookended by the documentary type. So it's not true. So it's not a documentary.
But what's the...
And so do you think they're mocking
What's
a
the rules on
documentary?
mockumentary?
Well, no, mock doesn't mean slagging. It means fake.
Yeah.
I mean...
So Blair Witch Project?
That's the other one I was going to bring
sorry.
up.
That's found footage documentary.
But mockumentary, I consider like comedy fake documentary though, right?
Mockumentary would have to be comedy.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't make a mockumentary because you're making fun of something.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
Yeah.
Like it just
then
means
it's a
fake
documentary.
But it's not a documentary if it's not about a real topic. Like
But
Blair Witch Project isn't about a real thing. They made it up completely. It's
How
fake.
do you know?
Ooh.
Well, I would
Blair
consider
Witch.
a mockumentary taking the piss
Okay.
out of something.
That's why
and
my
making a
two there
documentary
were
style.
edge cases.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they're kind of... Like, they're documentary style films rather than mockumentaries in the classic form. But they are still
Like-
faux documentaries.
Yeah, like again, going to the Spinal Tap or the Pop Star type of thing. I would class them towards mockumentary.
Yeah, like our this week's Bruno. Not Bruno, sorry, Borat.
fuck
Bruno.
is
No,
that
we're never watching
Bruno's-
Bruno. Who's
Bruno's-
actually seeing Bruno
no.
here? Can anyone put up?
No, I have.
Okay, I will. And you know what? It's
My hand is
fucking awful.
I've heard it's awful.
It's an awful film.
Bruno is next week's film.
No.
No, like
was that set at Christmas?
I truly love Borat so much that when I heard that Bruno was awful, I was like, no, I don't want to.
You're not going to ruin Borat by watching Bruno?
Like, you're not going to ruin
Watch
Borat.
it.
I won't ruin Borat by watching anything.
Yeah, you
but
will.
like, I don't know.
It'll
there's
ruin
too
Sacha
many
Baron Cohen
scenes.
for you.
No, yeah, I don't know. Like, he's like, look, we've already talked about this in the first half, but I think no matter what you say about whether or not you like the movie, like, I don't think there's any denying that he is a really fucking good actor, and when he gets in character and manages to stay in character without breaking his bollocks laughing, like it's
doing the first thing, but I do have a lot of respect for him able to keep his cool
yeah,
in
exactly.
really
like,
awkward positions. I
It's-
like
When it
it's
was
very-
balls on his chin.
he almost laughed during that bit. You can see him trying
Yeah.
not to laugh,
Yeah.
but that's the only part of the film
Yeah.
where that
Do you know-
happens.
do you know what's one that keeps coming up on the list, and I haven't seen it, but it's weird. It's actually an animated
Okay.
mockumentary. Surf's Up.
Yeah, I seen that. I didn't.
It's
like,
on every mockumentary list of it, and it's
Surf's Up with the penguins.
the Penguins.
That's a
Yeah.
mockumentary.
Yeah, so the way they're describing it is it's a computer animated mockumentary comedy film. Shia LaBeouf
Shia LaBeouf.
was in it. So the way it's described as where is it? Parts of it plot parodies the North Shore, Riding Giants in Endless Summer. Real life surfers Kelly Slater and Rob Machado have vignettes as their penguin surfer counterparts. So it's a mockumentary of like
Yeah.
an actual thing, yeah. And if it didn't know, Surf's Up 2 was actually Wave Mania, if you remember, with all the wrestlers in it. Like the voices of all the wrestlers.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, but it keeps popping up and I couldn't understand it. And even though
Yeah.
I'm reading it, I'm like,
Still don't
it's
understand.
parodying of real life surfing documentaries.
Yeah.
It's split up between three parts: the Endless Summer, Riding Giants, and North Shore. So they're all documentaries that they're literally taking the piss out. In an animated film, and it's supposed to be good. From what I can see, it's an animated.
If it's making all these lists, it has to be worth watching at least.
It's a good cast.
Yeah, it seems like in like recent years, and when I say recent, the last 10 or so, like the mockumentary style has been TV has been the home of that mockumentary style.
Yeah.
So many of the well thought of TV programs are mockumentary style. So like both the US and English Office, Parks and Rec, Curb Your Enthusiasm, they're all like mockumentary
Modern
style.
Family as well.
Modern
That's
Family.
done as a
Yeah.
documentary style.
And like Ricky Gervais like said specifically like that he owes like a lot to Spinal Tap just for The Office as well. Like he's like, you know, they're the gods of that sort of thing. Like,
Jeez, I never noticed there were so many TV shows that actually have that kind
Yeah,
of
so
style.
I was just looking at a list here.
Arrested
and
Development as
literally-
well, actually.
Yeah, so US
shit,
Office,
yeah.
Modern Family, Parks and
Yeah.
Rec, Arrested Development, Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Office.
yeah.
For
There's
some reason, it
there's
says
some major
Talladega
hitters.
Nights is also a mockumentary, but I'm like,
not.
what?
No, that's
No.
a
No, that's-
feature
that's
film.
stretching
No,
it.
yeah.
That's
The
just a
one I
feature
was
film.
actually going to mention when it came to TV, I don't know if any of you have ever watched it, Brass Eye.
I've actually
never
never
seen
watched
it.
it. No.
So good.
Isn't
Yeah.
that
If you
what
like
you get
that,
after you eating a bad curry?
Oh.
if you like that kind of real, and it's weird. I've often said I don't like the awkward humor stuff, but if you like that real awkward humor, and it's got the guy, I can't think of his name now.
Oh, typical.
I
I
know
mean,
it's
sorry,
not.
not
It's not
typical at
like
all.
me at all.
Yeah.
The Renham from the IT Crowd is
You
the host.
bastard.
He's
Uh,
the
love
host.
What's his name?
well, I can't think of his name either now. That's Karma, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love him so much. He's fucking amazing.
But it's so good. Like, there's one episode where they make up a drug called cake. Like, there's only 6 episodes. They're all available, I think, on YouTube or on the
Is it
4OD
Channel 4?
player.
Yeah, I
thing.
have that app on the Now TV box, so I must give that a look.
But, like, there's one episode where they make up a drug called cake.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they get a whole load of celebrities. Like, they interview a whole load of celebrities because they're doing this fake campaign against the
no.
fake drug. And they get them all to come out and talk about the dangers of cake. And it's just ridiculous. There's another episode about pedophiles, which is, I think it was banned off TV for a while.
Fuck.
But it's some real dry humor, but it's so good.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it in a long
That's
time,
typical
so-
British humor as well, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
like that kind of dry humor tends to hit home. That's why Americans are always like, "Oh, why is that funny? Let's make it American."
Yeah.
So I decided
never
to
works
look
out.
up mockumentary online and try to get like a definition of what it is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Mick is actually quite true to it.
Oh,
It's a type of movie or
Don't
TV
you
show
dance.
depicting fictional events but presented as a documentary. So it's mockumentary or docu-comedy.
Mhm.
docu-comedy
comedy,
sounds
so it has to be
awful.
fucking funny then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris Morris is the other guy who hosts Brassai.
And I know
Well,
that
in
name.
fairness, Blair Witch Project was hilarious.
So does that mean that film?
Sorry.
Does that mean that film I'm Still Here is a comedy?
It is. I'm just reading. I was just about to bring that one up. Has anyone seen that?
No,
What's
it's been
I'm
on my
Still
list for
Here?
ages. It's the multiple actors playing Bob Dylan, is it, or something?
No.
Am I
That's a
thinking of a
different.
different
You're
one?
thinking of a different film.
Cool. I'm
This
Still
one,
Here.
I'll just read a bit of a blurb from whatculture.com. Never has a mockumentary been debated over as eagerly or as intensely
Wow.
as I'm Still Here. Internet forums lit up like a bonfire in night sky discussing whether this was real or a hoax. Going back to Lonely Girl 15 and grainy footages of prehistoric monsters in the woods, the internet has loved to debate truth and fiction and Joaquin Phoenix's performance in this mockumentary blurred the lines between the two frequently, blatantly, and at times stupidly. Filmed over 12 months, Phoenix tries to pull off a stunt reminiscent of something Andy Kaufman would have done. Not as subtle or as tender as anything Kaufman did, but still with the same minimal vein. From his appearance on Letterman to videos of him rapping, this is a 21st century take on Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. I'm Still Here taps into that slow nodule in the brain that causes humans to pause and watch a car crash in slow motion and then hit rewind. This wasn't self-destruction, rather self-immolation. Like, it's...
Sorry, what's this called again?
I'm Still Here.
I'm Still Here.
Like, there was all this... Do you remember all the
Directed and
press about it? and
Produced
stuff?
and directed by Casey Affleck.
Do you remember all the
What's
press
that?
about it? Like, he was appearing like and saying he was a rapper. Like, this thing.
Yeah, so
It was
that's one thing
fucking
I've heard
mad
of it.
weird.
From start to finish of production, all outside, any interviews, any appearances, any walking down the street, he appeared as thing for nearly 12
Yeah.
months. As that, whatever he was doing,
Yeah.
he appeared as it. Like, and it was also one of those weird ones where up until the film was released,
Yeah.
it was the fact that the events of the film had been deliberately staged was not disclosed until after the film has been released.
Yeah.
So there's all this kind of smash kind of whoop.
Yeah.
It's not real, bitches. But is it? Is that why the whole debate is going through it? He remained in character in public periods, giving the many the impression that he was genuinely pursuing a new career. That's fucking mad, like.
Yeah. It's crazy.
District 9 is also slightly classed as a documentary. I apologise, Mick.
Don't apologize. to
As
him.
a
He doesn't-
mockumentary?
Well, it
Or-
includes elements of mockumentary in depicting
Oh.
the struggles of an alien species living in
There's the
immigrant
interviews at
camps
the
in
start. Like, they bookend
Johannesburg.
the film.
I've heard that, yeah. It's kind of like a...
With, like, them
It's all
talking
like kinda
about the main
handheld type
character.
stuff, yeah.
There's not many in, like, the top 10 list of all mockumentaries.
Hard
Like,
Day's Night.
It's been
There's
a
also-
hot day. It's Beatles.
have you ever watched those?
No. I've heard they're bad.
They're pretty bad.
Uh-huh.
There's one that's good.
I've
and
heard
the
Hard
rest
Day's
are
Night was
all
good
bit
though,
bad.
isn't it?
I can't remember which one is good. I'd literally have to look at all of them again. But when you look at the list of mockumentaries, there's not many ones where you're like, Jesus, they look awful. awful, awful, awful. And then there's a
Hey.
few like Borat, Pop Star, Spinal Tap, What We Do in Shadow Surf.
You
Up,
want
and you're like,
you,
yeah,
you
cool.
want awful? Alien Abduction, the McPherson tape.
The fuck is that?
Exactly. I don't know. It's one of those made for sci-fi
Ah,
TV
sci-fi
films. I don't even know why I watched it, but it looked like it was filmed on just like not even a video camera, but like a handheld camera.
Right.
Because it's that kind of, looks like an American soap style
Oh, God.
with really bad aliens and really bad effects. It's so good.
Now, where do you discover these?
I just watch
Seriously.
random crap on TV at like 2 a.m. At least I used to before I needed all the sleep I could get.
The old Negro space program
What?
is a mockumentary. Okay, I just came across it and I just seen the word Negro. They are in a company called NASA, Negro American Space Society of Astronauts.
This sounds amazing.
A short subject in the style of a Ken Burns film subtitled The Shocking but False Story of American Blackstronauts.
Oh my
Yep.
God. Is that not a blaxploitation film then?
Technically, it could be a blaxploitation blackumentary.
Yeah, we're getting on
yeah.
teetering territory here.
As well, all the paranormal activities.
Yeah, but they're horror.
Again, they're horror, so they're not mockumentary.
They're horror
But it doesn't
found footage.
mention in the definition that I read out earlier, apologies to Mick again, that mockumentary has to be comedy.
Sorry, to me, mockumentary has to be comedy. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that right
I'd
now.
make a line.
I
in the
believe
sand.
Wikipedia overuse. I'm sorry.
It can be a documentary, but it has to be funny.
I also believe Google. I'm sorry.
For the bad film, sometime can we watch that Alien Abduction film?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to be that?
Its full title is Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County.
Okay.
We can, but we
What's
have
the-
to watch that
Yeah,
other
it'll
one
be
first.
next year.
You have
What's
to
the
watch
other
all
one
the
first?
Christmas
Oh, the
ones.
Irish boxing one.
Well, the Irish martial arts one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
I've committed to that. So
I might
Or
watch that.
we've committed to that.
We
now.
have committed to that.
Yeah.
We've
Um,
knocked one or two out of the way, but
I may watch
Yeah.
that over Christmas.
okay.
That's my Christmas.
Do we have any feedback on this? We don't, do we?
We don't really know. Your dad gave us some with no scratching, please.
My balls are itchy, Dad. Sorry.
It's been a weird couple of weeks. We didn't really touch on it. Yeah, but yeah, we had a couple of weeks where schedules just did not fit together.
Yeah.
And under the weather dogs also don't help those.
Yeah,
matters.
games came out that we all had to play obsessively for a little bit.
I can't
All
wait to
of
talk
you
about this
above
in
being
part one.
absolute bastards.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened.
Do we want to discuss plans for the next couple of weeks? Then?
I think we should. I
Yeah.
think we should. I think we
Because
should go on
It's
to
beginning to look
a
a
lot like Christmas.
Aiden, this is your chance. You can sing the song.
Simply having a sexual Christmas night. Let's
I thought you were
all
gonna
have
sing,
an erotic holy time.
Oh, Paul McCartney's so good.
Well, I didn't know where to look.
Well, so that's it. So we're going into our Christmas
Mhm.
period.
Yeah,
We'll have
so
to-
we're sorry to interrupt, Joe. We're gonna have to put a pin in the other ones that we were going to do, which were
we'll get back to it.
Was
Fatal
the-
Deviation.
Yeah,
we have to
and
put on hold.
Predator.
And Predator, and No Distance Left to Run as well. Had to put a pin in that.
That's the Blur.
The Blur
thing,
one,
isn't
yeah.
it?
That's our next documentary one, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, next proper
Okay.
documentary,
There's
which is
another
also very funny.
mockumentary.
No, it's
Well,
all
it's
very
about Blur.
We
so
just
it's
did
not-
a
it's-
mockumentary.
It's an absolute piss-taking movie. It was about Blur. I prefer Oasis.
It's all very real. I want to see that supersonic thing. So
I
you
still
want,
have it on the fucking hard drive.
Same.
I still haven't touched it.
if you want to
Supersonic.
suggest that, then absolutely go
We
ahead.
don't
'cause-
have to. You
Oh
can
my
just
God.
come over and we can hold hands.
Oh, that's. I do like Oasis, by the way, just for the record, especially those first two albums.
They are better.
Neither
I
holds a
disagree,
candle.
but like
neither hold a candle to Pulp.
Oh,
Pulp are amazing.
Oh,
Have you listened to
man.
Pulp?
Yes, but
The shit
man,
that comes out
don't-
of an orange.
I'm not choosing between the three. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, because you don't have to. And like, listen, we'll get into that fucking debate when
And
it comes
all
to it.
The
three
music
of them,
podcast.
all three of them don't hold a candle to Travis.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that again.
Anyway, so our Christmas block is starting.
We had an episode that ended with that song before.
Yeah,
This
that's
came
right.
up before.
Shit.
It's actually
Call
not
back.
that bad a song, but it just I think it got so overplayed. I just got so sick of it.
Do we get the full 4 weeks? We do.
We
don't we?
do,
if we
but
do one on Christmas week.
yeah.
Like
No.
so, the next couple of Tuesdays. So there's the 4th of December, the 11th of December, the 18th of December, and then the 25th of December.
We're obviously not
We're
going to
not
do
gonna
25th.
do the 25th.
Of course not, but
Christmas
we can do like Thursday or Friday if you want.
We can't do the Friday.
Can we not?
Dinner engagements.
Right. Okay. Well, we can try and squeeze something in that week at some point, like Thursday,
We'll try
Saturday.
to sort something.
Yeah,
we'll
Thursday-
try.
Thursday,
We'll try.
Saturday, or Sunday. And
Mhm.
I'll throw this out there. If anyone wants to suggest a New Year's film, like When Harry Met Sally, we could do that. In
I don't
between
think there is many more, is there?
There's New Year's Eve, which is almost certainly rubbish. It's one of those ones with like 50 main characters. And, do you know?
One of them
Oh,
shows.
where
Like
it follows
Valentine's
10
Day.
people.
Yeah.
That it'll
Hey,
be
Love
highly
Actually is
streamed
amazing.
on Netflix.
I don't mind
Love Actually is
I
very
think it's
good. Yeah,
film.
Fucking
that's
good
the exception to the rule.
All right, then does...
Is that the one with Rick Grimes?
Yes.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
Actually
that's
is,
the
yeah.
one.
Rick Grimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
guy from
teachers.
The Walking Dead.
Has
Him as
anyone
well,
actually
yeah.
got a Christmas film in mind?
Aiden.
Who's
Yes, I
first
do.
off
I
the
have
bat?
not
Who
picked
wants
mine.
next week's film?
I've picked one already.
Well, actually, whose choice was it for Predator?
No, he said
That was
he'd
his
never
exact
seen an
decision, 'cause
Arnold
I'd never seen it,
Schwarzenegger
so-
film.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I was going to say whoever's decisions we're missing out on.
We'll
we
pick
could
the
do it
4
that way.
films and then we'll just roll off a dice or something. See
All right.
which order they're in.
A die or a dice?
A die, dice, multiple dice. I don't know.
You collect them, so you choose.
Yeah, exactly.
Has
I
any-
have a whole load with me.
Have the three
Oh,
of you, you nerd, have the three
I
of you
have
chosen
not
any,
picked
you
a
know?
film.
I've got one as well, yeah.
What have you got?
What have you got?
Ken, have you got one?
Those are my cookies.
Okay.
Jingle all the way?
Jingle
Oh,
all the
fucking right,
way.
baby.
Okay.
I was going to
I'm gonna
choose
write-
another one, but you'll end up butchering it on me, and I've loved it since I was a child.
What was your?
No, I'm not even telling you.
Oh, tell me, come
Jack
on.
fucking Frost, okay?
I've heard it's rubbish, but
It's
I haven't seen
Is
it.
that the one
muck,
with
but I still
Martin?
cry.
It's the one with
Michael
Batman
Keaton.
in it,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Martin Keaton.
What was yours?
My one is Harold and Kumar 3. A very Harold and Kumar Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Don't cringe.
Actually,
What am I
he
saying?
shouldn't get a choice
What?
because of the last movie he fucking picked.
Right, that's it. Fuck you. We're doing Jack Frost, and I'm going to take his massive
Harold
shit.
Kumar
Like,
Christmas. I'm writing it down. All right. Okay.
Do I have
it
to have
was
seen
the
the
type.
first two?
No,
to
you
know?
don't.
No, you
No,
don't. No.
But I'm not going to be up on the
Have you never
lore
seen the
of
first
Harold.
one?
No, I've never seen any of
So
them.
fucking good. That
I'm
film
not
is
going to be
perfect.
up on the Harold and Kumar lore.
Do it. Watch
Like
it.
I won't know what's
Watch it.
going on.
Then you may as well watch
You
it.
have 3 films to
I
watch.
have to watch all 3 that
You'll
week.
hate yourself,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
okay.
My one's taking a little deviation. It's still a Christmas film. I don't care what anybody says.
is it Batman Returns?
No.
Is it Die
Okay.
Hard?
No.
We've done
We
Die
did
Hard.
that
I
already.
don't care. We could do it again. It can rank twice.
Die Hard 2. Die Harder.
No, it's Gremlins.
Oh, lovely.
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 That is a Christmas film.
That is a Christmas film, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
100%.
We talked about that a few weeks ago and
Needs to
having
be
not
done.
seen it in a while.
Yeah, it was
I feel
about
bad that I
12
didn't
weeks ago
prepare
when we last met
Christmas
up.
film. Yeah, weeks ago when we spoke.
So we only need Mick.
Yeah.
Let me just do a very quick Christmas films.
What was your
Let's
most
go.
favourite as a child? Come
I'm
on.
definitely not watching whatever that was.
You and your
Yeah,
foxy pen.
pencil. I don't know. No, I'll make up my mind another time because I don't know.
On the spot. On the spot.
When Harry Met Sally, just pick that one.
no.
It'd just be convenient. Then we can put it in the gooch between Christmas and New Year's. That's the New Year's film. It's perfect.
I think I just don't like Christmas films.
Is that what you
What?
groaned when you heard, like, have you seen any Harold and Kumar?
No.
Then why are you moaning? What did you, like, look like you
Because
wanted
I've
to die?
seen the posters for them and gone, these look like shit.
They do
Well,
look like
they're
shit,
not.
but they're fucking great.
They're
No, they're
That's
not.
the thing, like.
They're
have you
funny
seen them?
as fuck.
Of course I have.
I
you
haven't
like them?
seen.
I hate them.
Really?
I hate that stupid,
you not have a
cheesy
cooler?
muck.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry about the love stains. in it.
You'll see.
you know what? I'm going to go for National Lampoon's Christmas
Oh,
Vacation.
beautiful.
Because I've not
Fantastic.
seen it.
You've not seen it?
Oh my
No,
god,
I've
it's
seen
amazing.
bits of it, but
Oh,
I've
it's
not seen
deadly.
the whole thing.
I can wear my National Lampoon Christmas jumper,
Okay.
which that's a thing I actually have, by the way. And
Yeah.
now I have a National Lampoon Christmas T-shirt as well.
I'm
Which
actually
iron
really
got me
excited.
for-
Do you
yeah.
know what, lads? The 4 films are not too bad. Jingle
Yeah.
All the Way, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas,
Jingle I
Gremlins.
haven't seen.
For the
National
next like
Lampoon's
4 weeks,
Christmas.
for doing these Christmas movies, if one of yous show up to this secret location without a Christmas hat or Christmas jumper, yous won't get past the front door.
I don't
Or-
own
I got like
either
6
a
Christmas
Christmas
jumpers.
hat or a Christmas jumper.
You don't have a
Mick.
Christmas jumper. How the
Mick.
fuck do you not have a Christmas
I
jumper?
have like 6. You'll be fine.
Pennies,
I have a 6 as
Mr.
well.
Price. Actually, fucking Aldi are releasing them this week. Get
Duns.
yourself some Duns, yeah. You make bleeding loads of cash.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Buy us all jumpers.
Yeah, exactly. And the jumpers are on Mick.
Wait, does that mean Predators are filming the first film of the new year?
Yeah.
Isn't
And
that when
then
they
the
shot
martial
most?
arts film, yeah.
And then that martial arts film, what was that called?
Fatal Deviation.
Oh, I thought it was Mortal Kombat.
Okay, so are we wrapped up for the week then? We'll decide the order of those films during the break. And
I've already
Yeah.
done it.
Have you?
no,
Well, I
All
just
the
put
Way.
them in as we actually
Jingle All the
said
Way
them.
2. Jingle All the Way, and then Jingle All the Way 2 again.
Is there two? Is there a second one?
There
the
is,
second
but
one
there
has
is.
a
Don't-
joke?
it
do
stars
not-
Sinbad.
It does not even
Oh.
have Arnie in it.
Oh, fuck
Jingle
that.
all the way
And
to
his
Jingle,
wives'
Jingle
cookies.
harder.
No, I'm
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
expecting Jingle All the Way to
Jingle
be
my
shite, but
bells.
because Arnie's
It's
in it.
absolutely muck, but
Yeah.
it's great. Jamie! Sorry, spoilers. Put that cookie down.
Like, is it basically Kindergarten Cop at Christmas?
Basically.
Oh, that's
Ki-
so.
yeah.
That's all
Have
I
you
need to know.
seen Jingle All the Way?
No, I haven't.
No, I fucking love it then.
Oh, okay.
Also,
It's gonna be great.
the character in Jingle All the Way always remind me of Turbo Man from...
Well, Turbo
Does
Man.
the guy
no,
is-
the other one, sorry.
shit, is that
Rainer
Joseph?
Wolfcastle.
Jiminy Jellicoe's
Is based
Joseph.
on him, but
Uh-huh.
he played the character. Yeah, that's the episode. I can't. Oh my god, my brain is fried.
It's turbo
Never
time.
mind. Never mind.
double time.
We also really need to try and actually watch all four of these
Mhm.
within the month, because if we end up doing a Christmas film in January, we'll look like dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Fuck them.
We'll get it
Uh,
done. We'll get
yeah,
it done.
hopefully, yeah.
I
We'll get it
trust
done.
us.
also, I really missed not doing this for the last 2 weeks. We didn't do it.
Did you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
generally.
did.
Yeah.
I had
really
great
genuinely
Tuesdays.
missed you guys.
Yeah.
My
And great
dog,
Wednesdays, great
wasn't
Thursdays.
even sick.
You cunt.
The little fucker was foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, he was. He looked like he was going to have a
Like-
fucking seizure.
I actually went to bed last Monday. I was like, oh, that was oh, fuck. I forgot to watch Borat.
He
So
didn't
the-
even watch his own film last week.
he's a fucking knob.
But the next day, I was
That's
like,
how bad it
I was
was.
like, do you know what? Fuck it. It's an hour and 24 minutes. I'll make it. I'll get home, throw the thing on
That was
straight
so
away.
Hilarious.
The credits were rolling. I was like, I can't do it. And I was like, bollocks! I could have been playing Switch or wanking or something.
So you did all
Switch
three.
might- yeah.
Why are you not doing that during the movie?
Actually, I was playing Switch during the movie as well, because I'd only watched it like 3 weeks before. So,
For fuck's sake.
anyway,
Actually, I don't know. No, I'm not even going to go into it.
I'm just glad that we've finally put that to bed, and I don't have to hear
Thank
you whinging about Borat anymore.
Fuck. I can
Like, at
get
least
that
I only
name off my wall.
Yeah, because we've
At
recorded
least-
part 1 already.
At least I only pissed on Short Circuit for. At least I only pissed on Short Circuit for 1 week.
Oh,
you
man,
guys
you
have been
you
pissing on
didn't
Borat
pi-
for
you did
6
not-
weeks.
You did not piss on Short
Because it
Circuit. You
deserves
shat all
it.
over it. Like, you shat all over it.
The longer the title, the more the abuse.
If it helps, they're both bad films.
Why do you think it just says boring up on... No, sorry, it says Bora. I couldn't fit the full fucking title, and the wall isn't big enough.
It's not happening.
That's part of the joke. Listen, we'll
Yeah, all right. We'll
Yeah.
finish up for this
Mhm.
week then, yeah?
Aiden.
If you want to contact
Yeah.
us, you can find us on Facebook. So just search for Preachin on Preacher at the movies. On Twitter at PreachinPod. You can email us preachinonpreacher@gmail.com, even though nobody ever does. You can listen to all of our back episodes at preachinonpreacher.com. You can find us on Spotify, on Mixcloud. You can take
MyCloud.
our RSS feed from preachinonpreacher.com, put it into your podcast and have a choice. And of course, you can also watch us on YouTube. That's.
Oh, sorry.
I got through it as fast as I could. That's why, I just.
Title of his sex tape.
I hate. Oh yeah, I just hate doing that bit of the show because it's just so boring and nobody emails us anyway. So I need no other final thoughts, gentlemen. Will I see you guys next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Fucking hopefully.
Yeah,
For
fingers
Christmas.
crossed.
It'd be a Christmas miracle.
So join us next week for either Jingle All the Way, A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas,
Please no.
Gremlins,
Graham.
or the other one. Oh yeah,
the
National
other
Lamp-
one.
I just couldn't remember. Like
fucking
The
God.
best
National
one of the
Lampoon's,
four.
National
Hell
Lampoon's Christmas
no.
Vacation.
We could just
have you
watch
seen that film,
all
Ken?
4 and then just argue about which is the best.
Yeah.
Just get it all done. And
We could. That's something to look forward to at the end of the year, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right. Anyway, join us next week.
When we hand out our awards.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yes. There's an award ceremony. There's no award ceremony. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week.
Wait,
Keep,
what?
keep on preaching.